I'm Jasmine Thomas. Now we would like to review some information about blood pressure. Elevated blood pressure can affect your heart's health. Blood pressure tells us how much work your heart is doing to keep the blood flowing around the body. Blood pressure actually has a formula. To get this number, measure cardiac output, which is the total amount of blood your heart can pump in 1 minute, usually 5 liters, and multiply that number with peripheral resistance, which is the amount of resistance or drag your blood vessels put on the flow of the blood. High blood pressure indicates that your heart is working harder than it should. Nicole, how do we measure blood pressure?
We use different instruments to take blood pressure. One way to take blood pressure is manually. The doctor will place a cuff around your arm and place the stethoscope on your brachial artery to listen to your blood flow. Another instrument is called Dynamap. This device is automatic. The device we use most often in our study is called bloodpressure2. This instrument will automatically take your blood pressure 6 times and average them while the doctor is outside of the room. This helps prevent white coat syndrome, or when a person's blood pressure goes up when you're nervous about being in a medical experience. Jasmine, what happens when you get your blood pressure measured?
When you get your blood pressure measured, the doctor or nurse places a cuff around your upper arm and reads off 2 numbers. To get a blood pressure reading, the cuff is first tightened to stop the blood from flowing down your arm. Then the cuff is slowly deflated. The machine or person taking the blood pressure will listen for when the blood first rushes back down the arm and notes that pressure, which is your blood pressure during a heartbeat. This is the highest pressure your blood movement puts on the walls of your arteries. The heartbeats will continue, and the person or machine will note when they stop. This second number, when the heartbeat cannot be heard since the heart is refilling from its next beat. Your blood pressure is the difference between the height of the contraction and when the heart is refilling. The first number we talked about is called systolic blood pressure. The second number is called diastolic blood pressure. These 2 numbers are reported as systolic over diastolic, like 120 over 80. The difference between systolic and diastolic blood pressure is called pulse pressure. The unit for all these measurements is a pressure measurement, millimeters of mercury, written as mmHg. Are there any other important measurements, Nicole?
Another important blood pressure measurement is mean arterial pressure. Mathematically, this is 1/3 of the pulse pressure plus the diastolic pressure. The mean arterial blood pressure tells us the average pressure in the arteries that deliver blood from the heart to the rest of the body. We use mean arterial blood pressures as the most reliable method to measure your body's response to salt intake during our study. As we talked about in another video, if your mean arterial blood pressure increases by a relatively high amount when you eat a lot of salt, you are salt sensitive. If it increases by a relatively low amount, or does not increase at all, this means you are salt resistant. If you eat a lot of salt and your mean arterial pressure decreases, you are inverse salt sensitive.
Stay tuned for more information about hypertension, genetics, and salt sensitivity.